Silver is officially the talk of the town. Even mainstream media won't shut up about it. CNBC News that has 2.7 million subscribers. The stars have finally aligned, or have they? Is the perfect storm here? Even though I have plenty of silver coins, doesn't mean I have a crystal ball. So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.
Connection established.
This week's deals at Miles Franklin are the beautiful 1-ounce silver Krugerrands, only $3.10 over spot. We also have 10th ounce gold maples, $35 over melt. That's a minimum of 4. And last but not least, 1-ounce palladium bars, only $119 over spot. Email, text, or call me, slayer@milesfranklin.com. We have a massive inventory, all the best prices around. I'd be happy to help. That is slayer@milesfranklin.com. Now let's get into the video. Silver is now up to $28.23 at the time of recording this video, Friday, April 5th at 5 p.m. EST, and it's looking like it's not slowing down anytime soon. This is incredible. It's actually above $28 with a massive spike just happening. What is going on? Is this going to continue, or is it about to start pulling back? Well, if you know anything about charts or what a cup and handle is, you won't be saying it will. Look at this cup and handle. It took 31 years to form with an 11-year handle, and now we have the first breakout attempt. This silver breakout adds to the massively bullish price pattern. This article says, I like what I'm seeing late in the precious metal space. And this was actually written yesterday, and it's actually broke above 28 since then, so this breakout attempt is even more bullish from the time of this article being written yesterday. So it's even more validation. Says that gold has broken out to new highs, and now silver is beginning to show this strength. Today we look at the long-term quarterly chart of silver, as it seems that something big might be brewing. As you can see, silver took 31 years to form a very large cup pattern, in the last 11 years forming what appears to be a handle. If so, this would be a massively bullish cup with handle price pattern. I'm not here trying to dive too deep into the charts. I wanted to share that data though to show you guys that silver might truly be onto something this time, and there's evidence backing it up. So here's an article that was written by Watcher Guru titled Silver Trends Amid Gold's Price Hike. Why is silver rising? So silver is also experiencing a notable price hike amid the recent gold rush. The metal has finally broken its consolidation phase, embracing bullish momentum and pace. Silver has long been stuck in a consolidation phase, portraying a reluctant stance on its price threshold. However, with the growing demand and the metal's prestige growing stronger, the price of silver has finally broken past several resistance levels to reach $27.30 at this time, where now it's at $28.30. It's up a full dollar since this article was written, and they're already saying how bullish $27 is. Now it's a full dollar higher. That might not sound like a lot, but in the world of gold and silver, a dollar higher within less than 24 hours on top of a huge bull run with mainstream media talking about it as well, that is something to take note of. Now, here's a good question. Why is it rising though? The financial markets around the world are undergoing a dynamic shift, with user sentiment shifting towards accumulating robust metals as a hedge against inflation. The prices of gold and silver are touching new highs. Silver is up $27 an ounce, while gold sits at the $2,300 threshold. The demand for these metals has grown tremendously as users are now transitioning towards exploring safer asset alternatives to battle the growing inflation woes, which they should have been doing from the jump. And it isn't too late. Most people will invest into silver once it is too late, once it's already broken past $50, headed towards $100, because that's when people will finally see that confirmation, that validation that it can. Right now, people might still be a little on the fence, see what it's doing. There is a lot of steam picking up, especially when you have channels with millions upon millions of subscribers talking about silver with record year highs. and people who are going to transfer gold into silver, right? They're going to trade between the two metals. It would be a perfect time to trade gold for silver. Gold's at all-time highs. Silver's not even half, or it's around half of its all-time high. So why not transfer that down, since we know that silver's going to keep going up and we don't know how much higher gold will go up. So a lot of people will be trading the gold to silver ratio as well. This is talking about various financial analysts on Twitter have regarded the silver price hike as one of the best developments to note in the domain of finance. Wow. And he's saying precious metals miners should start this explosive rally. There's no signal excuse left. So this is looking very bullish. Now, this guy says, this is undoubtedly the best looking chart I've ever seen in my career. One of the most important macro developments unfolding as of late. If you ask me, the silver rush is just getting started. I mean, that is incredible. Like, yes, we all know why we're investing into silver. We all know, XYZ about the dollar, but when you look at the data as well, like the charts, that really does put in perspective. Like these people, this guy, he's just looking at the numbers. He doesn't know about the fundamentals of supply and demand or what. He's just looking at the charts. Maybe he does, I'm just saying. Just even the people on the charts are saying, this is doing something. This has legs. It's interesting to see that we have proof beyond just the speculation of, well, it should be higher. Now it is, and there's reasons why it will continue to. So silver has been propagated as a solid alternative to battle the rising inflationary pressure. The author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, an ardent metal proponent, further shared his theory on how silver and gold are dubbed as solid backups to fight inflation and sudden economic pivots. And that I've been on his podcast before, and he is definitely someone who will talk about gold, silver, and Bitcoin all day long and talk about the dollar in the most negative light possible. So, quote, as I warned in RDPD, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, over 27 years ago, savers are losers. The dollar's lost 95% of its purchasing power since 1913, the year of the Fed and the IRS were formed. Please wake up and take control of your money and your information. If you trust our political leaders, you are in trouble financially. Please take control of your financial teachers and your money. I am hard, real money advocate, and I only save real gold, silver, and Bitcoin, Kiyosaki later shared. And I can attest to that. I mean, when I was on his podcast, he knows what he's talking about. He does. And he told me stories of some crazy stories, actually. You guys should go check it out. But, he even bought from Miles Franklin because in the podcast I did with him, he says, and quote, my dealer of over 30 years can't find silver anymore. But Andy Schectman can. Andy Schectman can find silver when no one else can. And that's why you should email me, Slayer at Miles Franklin, because Andy Schectman's the CEO, and we have connections where 99% of people don't, since we're one of the only authorized dealers that can still work with the U.S. Mint. Since the U.S. Mint banned everyone from buying directly from them, they chose only a handful of dealers, and we are one of them, so we can go directly to them. We find silver where most can't. We have sources because Andy is the man. And I'm being serious. He says that in the podcast. Robert says, my dealer of over 30 years says he can't find silver anymore, which is a serious thing. That shows you how a lot of people, especially as demand keeps growing and nobody's selling, there's going to be a time where it's going to be, do you have a guy that can get it? Because if not, you're screwed. Right now, you might have this luxury of relying on a place, but do you know how many, especially during 2020, how many places were running out? Or how many people I had to email them, even companies asking if I could, if I had any leads. It was crazy, and it's only going to get worse as, silver becomes more scarce and more wanted. So demand for silver peaks amid the gold rush. So, and that's a good point. Even with all of this, we still have this rapidly growing demand and diminishing supply on top of all this stuff as well. It's insane. The growing retail demand for silver is driving its current price push. According to the Silver Institute, global demand for silver has grown 18% to 1.12 billion ounces in 2022. In 2023, it was 1.2 billion ounces. Some are expecting or forecasting 1.4 billion ounces this year. Silver, alongside gold, is used heavily in sectors related to jewelry, manufacturing, engineering, healthcare, which are now inflating its retail demand. The Silver Institute issues a positive forecast for the metal, with its demand touching 1.2 billion ounces in 2024. And they actually had to revise their numbers. And the Silver Institute doesn't incorporate military or aerospace in their annual numbers. And military uses a lot of silver, especially with so many wars going on. There's up to 500 ounces of silver in a single Tomahawk missile. Around 200 ounces is the average in most missiles, but 500 in Tomahawks. And with so many wars going on, where it's, silver is used for nukes, satellites, drones, aerospace, technology, surveillance, it's used in everything. So as more war goes on as well, that's going to use more silver, and that's why the U.S. Defense Department raided our own silver stockpiles. And then when I showed a chart yesterday showing the LBMA vaults, the LME, and the COMEX vaults are dry, right? They're being bled dry, and they even admitted it. It's a problem. It might make a pretty penny for you as long as you hold it and own it, but for the people that need it, that's where the problem comes in. If you're trying to push zero net emissions by the year 2040 to try to save global warming and climate change, or if you need silver to make Teslas and EVs and the many thousands upon thousands of uses that silver has, but then you can't find it, what are you going to do? You're going to have to cut back the amount of Teslas you make per year, or we can't go green, or you can't use silver for imagine how many actual uses it is, because even in the medical world you have colloidal silver, right? And silver has antimicrobial properties, which means it can also purify water. It's used in everything, silver, lithium-ion batteries as well. So at this rate, and AI chips, with the way technology is advancing digitally with AI as well, silver is used in AI chips. So we need silver, but the more and more time goes on, the less and less there will be of it. Like I always say, everyone wants a slice of the silver pie, but there simply is just not enough pie to go around. And that day, it will be obvious soon. And once that day becomes obvious, that's when I think silver's true value will finally shine. So with that said, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, folks, subscribe, enter my giveaway. And if you guys wanted to purchase some of this shiny stuff, Slayer at milesfranklin.com. We have Krugerrands 310 over spot. We have Eagles as well. And, great prices. I always make sure you guys are taken care of. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.